For a great cup of joe, there's one thing you should know. Your morning brew can also be playful. Buff Boy Brewing guys make the temperature rise, and you surely feel naughty when you swallow our coffee. If you want some real heat, give your mouth a fine treat. You will want some more, rest assured. Buff Boy Brewing, you can't get enough of.
It's time for The Scribble, your weekly fix of celebrity chats, bizarre stories in the news, and basic random chatter with best-selling author and syndicated radio host Jeremy Bradley. Make sure your seat is in the upright and locked position and your barf bag is securely in place. Here's Jeremy Bradley.
Hello everybody, Jeremy Bradley here. This is The Scribble. Thanks for tuning in today and also checking out our website, thescribbleshow.com, and subscribing on iTunes and on SoundCloud. We definitely couldn't do this podcast without you. So it's been an interesting couple of weeks, right? We had the Big Brother cast, we've had Cynthia from The Social, and we're going to chat Halloween in just a few minutes because as a homeowner, I have a different perspective on Halloween as people who might live in an apartment or live with other people because I have the kids coming to my house. And I'm going to tell you about a heartbreaking story from the very first year that I was in my house at Halloween time. So stick around for that. You might have a laugh, but it definitely was devastating for me. And also Jimmy Fortune, the legendary country star, is going to be joining us to talk about his new CD and DVD that is out now. It's out today, actually, if I'm not mistaken, depending on when you're listening to this. So Jimmy Fortune is going to share some of his thoughts and memories about his decades in the music business, because he's been inducted, he's won awards, he's really just done it all. And he's paired up with some really legendary stars as well on the new CD and DVD combo. So we'll talk about that coming up in just a little bit. Would love to hear your thoughts as well, anything that you've heard on the podcast or would like to hear on the podcast in the coming weeks. You can send me an email. jb@jbonair.com is the email address. jb@jbonair.com. And we're on the Twitter, as my dad would say. We're on Twitter at The Scribble Show, at The Scribble Show. And definitely follow along and send in your tweets as well. Oh, my Twitter. My Twitter is at... I don't know. It's SF Celebwatch. At SF Celebwatch. SF as in Speak Free Celebwatch. Now I really am my dad. Dad, what's your email address? Oh, I don't know. Well, you made it. You must know what it is. It's not like your zip code or your, whatever that you didn't create. You make your email address. You know what it is. All right, there's my rant for the day. We're going to get into my shocking and devastatingly depressing Halloween story right after this.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich, working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare, having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom41.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom41.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom41.com. Go to freedom41.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom41.com.
Scribble Dribble brought to you by SpeakFreeWithJB.com.
Thank you.
Check out syndicated newspaper columnist Jeremy Bradley's rants and raves in his weekly news and entertainment columns.
Yay.
That's at SpeakFreeWithJB.com. Since he's paid to not shut up, God knows why. Once again, Jeremy Bradley.
I'm not sure if this is really dribble, but thank you very much, Larson, for that. So, Halloween right around the corner, and if you're a homeowner like I am, you either shut off all your lights and you pretend that nobody's home so the kids aren't coming to your door and screaming for free candy, or you do what I did the very first year that I ever moved into my house, which was you go all out to try to make a splash and really impress the kids. All right, it wasn't so fine and dandy the first year that I was in my house. Now, years ago, I worked at Party City. I was an assistant manager, and I always inherited all of the decorations from the store. After we took down a display, we'd either keep them in a box, or we'd throw them out, or we'd take them home. So after Halloween one year, actually maybe both years, and just some background is Party City Canada went bankrupt and closed up, so we looted the place, basically, is what happened. So anyway, I had a whole bunch of decorations. When I moved into my house, I took them from my parents, and I said, all right, well, I'm going to go all out for every season because I've got all this stuff now. So I went into it, I think maybe about a week before Halloween, and I just started decorating everything. I even took video of inside my house, outside. I was very proud. Had a fog machine, had some scary music, had the windows done up, and I could, I'd move something into the front window, and then I'd run outside to look to see if it was, centered or whatever it was, because there's a big tree in front of my house, so it's also kind of hard to see. So I did it all for the kids, right? I had it all decorated. I had it really nice. I even had the devil horns on the dog, right? Just like everybody dresses up their pet. And I sat there and I waited. And I watched out the front window and I saw kids going by and kids going by. Now here's the deal, is that my house is on, it's not a very busy street, but it's a fairly busy street. There's an elementary school one direction, there's a junior high in another direction. Not that I was expecting the teenagers to come for free candy, but at least the youngsters at the elementary school. And I could see them going by. And I sat on the couch basically just looking out the window, feeling depressed. And maybe that's what it was, is that here's this creepy guy who's just sitting and staring out his window. But no, they couldn't see me. But yeah, I felt really, really devastated because I also, I went to Costco and got the whole big box of chocolates because there was this panic of, am I going to have enough? How many kids are going to come this year? And my fear was, and still would be if I gave out candy again, is that there's going to be 5 kids that come to the house, and I'm only going to have enough candy for 3 kids, right? And then the other 2, what do you do? Do you turn them away? Do you have like dollar bills standing by and just give them? I'll give them a dog. There you go. Here, take the dog. He's yours. Not to eat him, but he won't fit in your bag. Just here's this leash. Take him. He's yours. I've got 2 dogs. We're fine. But that was my fear too. So I had bowls and bowls of candy at the front door. I was ready to go. And I was just devastated. There was, I think, about 8 kids that came. It was no more than 10. I don't remember the exact number. I've blocked it out of my head. So then what I did the next year, and I lived in my house, it'll be 8 years in January. I haven't given out candy a couple times. But what I did the next year was I decided to have a big bottle of vodka, and every time a kid came, I did a shot. And then the next year, I had a friend over, and every time a boy had come, I did a shot. Every time a girl would come in costume, he did a shot. So then we're doing shot for shot, basically, at that point. I'm giving you a Halloween drinking game. Write this down, ladies and gentlemen. These are great ideas here. And, and the thing is that not many kids came, so it's not like we were wasted out of our minds. It just, it was just kind of something fun it takes the disappointment out of Halloween. So would definitely love to hear your thoughts about that, and then also if you dress up, because Halloween is a Saturday this year, and are you going to take most of the day to get ready? Are you making your own costume? Are you buying a costume? Do you go all out on face makeup? We had that segment last time about how to have a cheap Halloween from my book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate. It's different when you're a kid, and then it's different when you're an adult. Because as a kid, you're waiting for days and days. As an adult, you're kind of like, oh yeah, that's right, Halloween's tomorrow, I should get ready. At least I was. I'm 33, not that I'm a party pooper, but I really don't play into Halloween that much. Send me an email, would love to hear your thoughts. jb@jbonair.com, jb@jbonair.com.
If you're diabetic, this message could change your life. Is your blood sugar out of control even when you do all the right stuff? Are you afraid of diabetic blindness and the risk of amputation, as well as all those other side effects? Well, you should be. Is there anything that could help manage your blood sugar? Nobetes is a natural supplement that may quickly and dramatically lower your blood sugar.
My name is Bob Corder. I've been using Nobetes for about 3.5 to 4 months now. And in the first 3 months, I've actually lowered my blood sugars from 500s down to 139, and then it dropped to 88 to 96. 53.
My name is Kirsten. I'm a type 1 diabetic, and while taking Nobides, my blood sugar levels dropped from 295 to 115 in just one day.
The FDA hasn't evaluated these statements, and Nobides isn't intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. But for many, it's helped drop their blood sugar. So if you've been evaluated with high blood sugar, don't delay. Evaluate Nobides now. Call 800-478-9568 and get your free bottle. Just cover shipping and handling. Call 800-478-9568. That's 800-478-9568.
Celeb spotting on the Scribble.
He's accomplished a fair bit in his decades in the music business. Legendary Jimmy Fortune joining us on the line. Hello there.
How you doing, Jeremy? It's good to be talking to you.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. You know, you've been honored with everything: awards, inductions, tributes. You're part of the Country Music Hall of Fame, the Gospel Hall of Fame. I'm exhausted just talking about it, but how does that feel for you? You've done quite a bit in your life, eh?
Well, I'm very thankful and humbled by it all, really, because when I started out, like I did years ago, back in Virginia, we had my guitar, started my first band, and just playing music because you loved it, and you never dreamed of... I don't think anybody ever thinks about maybe, well, one day I'm going to be in the Hall of Fame or any kind of Hall of Fame or win any kind of award when you just love music, you know. And I just wanted to do it for a living, and I finally figured out a way to do that, and then I got a very lucky break getting hired by the Statler Brothers back in 1982, and them being one of the most awarded acts in the history of country music, I said, you know, once you latch on to those guys, I guess if you just try to do your job and do the best you can and try to make a difference, then something's going to happen somewhere, and it has, thanks to those guys giving me a break, you know.
Well, I was going to say, take me back there to that time, because that's got to be thrilling, but exciting, but terrifying at the same time. When it's the Statler Brothers, everybody knows that name.
Well, Lou DeWitt, who sang tenor for the Statler Brothers, he's the one that wrote "Flowers on the Wall," and he had Crohn's disease. And I didn't know it at the time back then, but I was a big fan of the Statler Brothers because where I'm from, up in Virginia, is where they're from too. It's about the same area. They're bigger than life. They always have been. And so he heard me singing at a local ski resort up there one night. I was jamming with some friends of mine, and I met Lou for the first time back in 1981, around Thanksgiving 1981. And we got to actually pick together that night, and I met him, and I just told him how much I loved him and how much I respected him and his talent, and we sang together that night and sang a few songs, and he listened to me sing, and I just thought after that it was great, but I'd probably never hear from him again. And then right after Christmas that year, he was going to have surgery because he suffered from Crohn's disease, and it's a pretty major disease, and it had gotten really bad, and he was going to be out for about 6 months. And when he went to Harold, Phil, and Don, the other guys, he told them, he said, I heard a guy from just the other side of the mountain the other night, a few weeks ago, and his name is Jimmy Fortune. If you guys give him a chance, I think he could fill in for me. And I couldn't believe, after all that time, my name was the first name out of his mouth, and that was just, it was a God thing. That's the only way I know how to put it. And to make a long story short, they called me up and got me to come over and audition. I'm getting a call from the Statler Brothers, and I'm sitting there going, I can't believe this, and I come over and I talked to Harold, Phil, and Don, met them and everything, and went to Harold's house and sang around the piano. And I thought, well, even if this doesn't work out, I've got something to tell my kids one of these days that I actually got to sing around the piano with the Statler Brothers. And I thought that was enough for me, and lo and behold, long story short again, it turned into they wound up hiring me, and for 6 months, temporary, until he came back in July. He came back for a couple weeks, and then Lou came to me and said, he didn't think he could take the road, and asked me if I'd do it full time. And I said, I'd be an idiot to turn this down. And so I took it on, and I tried to do the best I could, and I wanted to keep the Statler Brothers going. And I told them, I said, as long as you guys want to do it, I'm here for you and with you until you guys decide not to do it anymore. And I was there, from then on. And Lou passed away back in 1990 from the the complications from his Crohn's disease. He eventually needed a heart transplant. He got pretty weak, and we miss him very much. But I owe him tremendously, and I do pay tribute to him every night and in my shows.
Music has been in your life since the very beginning, since you were a child, I know. Do you remember what your first favorite song was?
Wow. I remember used to go, we didn't have any stereo or anything. We didn't even have a TV when I was a kid until, I was probably about 8 years old when we got a TV. But I remember riding with my dad in the car, and if ever I was like his shadow. I always wanted to be with him no matter where he was. Well, he'd go places not very far from home sometime, and I would be riding in the car with him, and he'd just turn the radio on, and I can remember one of the first songs that I heard on radio was Jim Reeves with "Put Your Sweet Lips a Little Closer to the Phone," and I heard that beautiful voice. It's so big, and he was one of the first voices I really fell in love with, and his big baritone voice, but it just intrigued me, and then it was just good songs like that just really got to me. And then eventually, Charlie Pride, and my dad used to take me to my aunts who had a jukebox. She had a restaurant and she had a jukebox, and he would go there to make me learn Charlie Pride songs, because we'd put nickels in the jukebox while he would play, and I would try to write the words down as fast as I could because he loved it. And so I would get some of his songs, and we were big Charlie Pride fans, and Merle Haggard and Glenn Campbell, and eventually he got a stereo and brought it home one day, and I guess I was about probably I was about 12 years old by then, I guess, and I'd had my guitar and I was trying to learn how to play it, and he brought a stereo home, and he bought some records and of some of those same people I'm talking about, and then I started sitting down and listening to him, and I thought I died and went to heaven when he got one of those it was like a floor model stereo, and I thought, man, I thought I had a recording studio. You could have, I was just as happy as I could be, and I learned songs off of it, and we listened to the radio, and just that's how I learned how to play. My dad showed me 3 chords, and I took off from there.
You mentioned your dad. I've made an observation about country music, and tell me if you agree that it's generational. If your parents listen to if your parents listen to the oldies channel, as a kid you found that uncool and you didn't want to listen to it. But when it was country music, it sticks with you as a kid. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I have seen. What do you think about that?
Yeah, and that's true. But I just love the music in general, and I still do. And I've learned from all of it, but I agree with you, because when, as time went on, I eventually started listening to the Eagles and the Doobie Brothers, and I got into stuff like that as well. And it's kind of country rock type stuff, that I really got into the vocal stuff, the vocal arrangements of the Eagles and things like that. Then I love the Statler Brothers. I was a big fan of the Statlers, and then Alabama, when they came along, I was a big fan of the Gatlin Brothers. We used to sing their stuff, and I eventually had a cover band, which when you have a cover band, you play in clubs up in Virginia and around the state, you pretty much got to do a little bit of everything. You got to do what's on the radio, and you did what's on the pop, you did what's on rock, you did what's on country, and we'd really mix it up, believe it or not. I mean, we didn't do just one thing, because our audience was a mixed audience, and when they would come in, they would want to hear all kinds of things, and they would request night. You better pretty much have a good repertoire of top 40 songs from every genre, and that's what we tried to do, and I guess it made my background in music pretty broad after doing that for so many years.
Let's talk about these big names that you have on the new album. It's called Hits and Hymns. You can name drop. Tell us some of the names who are on the album with you.
Well, I've been touring some with the Oak Ridge Boys, and they are on this CD with me, and they're singing a song called Life's Railway to Heaven with me on there, and they did a tremendous job, and they're good friends of mine, and I do go out and I open some shows for them from time to time as well. And then also the Isaacs are on there. Ben Isaacs produced the record, and him and his family, they're on the CDs as well, and the DVD, backing me up on that. And then the Gaither Vocal Band, they're on there doing Just a Closer Walk with Thee. That is a tremendous arrangement arranged by David Phelps himself of the Gaither Vocal Band. That he did a tremendous job on that song. It's so different. It's got a little bit of quartet type feel in it, and it's got barbershop, and it's got a little pop feel to it. It's a pretty cool song, the way he arranged the background vocals, and I was just tickled to death when I got to hear the finished product. And then, of course, I have Ricky Skaggs singing with me on Too Much on My Heart, which is a song that I wrote years ago. It was a hit for the Statler Brothers. And his wife, Sharon, she's singing with us, and the Whites are singing on my single off the record called I Believe, and the Whites are singing backup with me on that, and couldn't have more wonderful people singing with me on that song and on the whole project, actually. And then we got Daly and Vincent. They're singing a song called Sweet By and By with me. They did a tremendous job, and they're good friends of mine as well. And Vince Gill and Sonia Isaac sing Amazing Grace with me, and it's just I don't even know how to explain it, but when I sit and listen to it, when we went into this thing and talked about it, one of the smartest things that Ben Isaac said when he was producing this thing, he said, when we get the musicians together, we want to talk about when people hear these songs, they've been done over and over and over again, but when people get to hear these songs on this CD, we want them to feel like they're hearing it for the first time. And so, literally, when I sit down and listen to it because when you're into it and you're doing it, it's one thing, but when you get it done and you actually sit back and can listen to the finished product and see how it affects you, I literally thought I was hearing a lot of those songs for the first time because of the way the musicians treated it, the singers, and even the way I approached it from my standpoint. And it was all like new to me all over again.
And so if the CD wasn't enough, I know it's one of those, but wait, there's more thing. There's a DVD now that goes along with this too, right?
Yes, after we did the CD, we listened to it, and Bill Gaither sent where he called up and he said, guys, this is so good. He said, we need to do a DVD of this project and talk about it and have stories behind the songs, have stories about, my life, and I was really taken back. I mean, I just thought it was going to be a CD. I had no idea that it would turn into what it did. And again, I went to Bill Gaither's studio, their place up in Indiana, to his hometown, and they just treated us so great, and we just had a big old time. I mean, just being together, talking about music, talking about the Statler days, talking about my life growing up in Virginia, about my mother and my father, which are gone on now, but the memories from just being with them and how they influenced my life and music, and how my mother prayed for me so much, and I still feel her prayers going on right today. And it was a magical time together, and all that is on the DVD. A lot of stories, from my childhood and from my life growing up in Virginia. And the whole thing it's magical. And like I said, when I sat and I watched it, I'm not a big fan of watching myself or hearing myself. But a lot of people are like that are in this position, I guess. But I found myself sitting there smiling, and I said, you know what? I was like I was on the outside looking in, and I said, if I'm smiling and I'm feeling this, I think a lot of people will feel this and get the same message out of it. And it's a positive. Every song is positive, and the whole idea behind it is I think that everybody, when you come away from it, listening to the CD, watching the DVD, you'll come away with a feeling of, wow, this feels good, and you will have a smile in your soul that only music and only the great musicians that play on this album, the great background singers, the songwriters, everybody just was anointed, and that's the only thing I know how to say about it. It's just a wonderful thing that I am so thankful for.
Well, and you use the word magical, which, you know, the holidays, Christmas is coming, and it would make a magical gift, or even just something to listen to with your family at Christmas, right?
Exactly. You know, it's gonna be in Cracker Barrel, and it's in Cracker Barrel, and they have it, and also it's going to be Walmart's, Targets, and Christian bookstores. It'll be on Bill Gaither's website. You'll be able to order it off of there. There'll be a 1-800 number that you'll be able to buy it off of TV. That'll be advertised on my website, jimmyfortune.com. Since I've been doing this, I've never had a project that has done that, because everything I've done is pretty much I've done kind of on my own, on my little small label, that I've done everything that to this point. But this has taken on a whole new life, and it's a lot more life in it than just about anything that I've ever done. I can tell you that, and it's thankful to Bill Gaither and his organization, to Ben Isaacs, and to all the people that came together as my friends and really outdid themselves. I still can't believe it, and it's just like, you know, being in the Hall of Fame or whatever. I still can't believe that. I have to pinch myself sometimes, and as to how nice and good people have been to me, and I'm just really thankful for the opportunity that God has given me, and I found out at a young age. My mama told me, she said, "Jimmy, not everybody can sing," and she said, "You have a talent, and it is a talent, and you need to use it for good." And I promised God that whatever I did, that's what I do, and He really has blessed me and watched out for me through it all.
Well, we're going to be sure to check it out. It's called Hits and Hymns, and it's out now. So check out Walmart, Target, all those stores that Jimmy was just listing. Well, thanks so much for joining us, Jimmy Fortune, and congrats on all your success. We do appreciate you taking the time.
Jeremy, thank you. We couldn't do without people like you, buddy, and thank you for what you do for us, man. God bless you, buddy.
Ever had something to get off your chest but never had the balls to say it? That's a load of crap. Speak Free with JB.com is exactly what you've been waiting for. Your chance to tell it like it is and not care what anybody else thinks. Have your say on issues of the day. Join newspaper and radio columnist Jeremy Bradley as he tells it like it is. Hundreds of thousands of people have stopped by, including some well-known celebrities who have had a chat with JB and speak candidly about what's really going on in the world. You can join them too. Have a rant or a rave. Be brave and head on over to www.speakfreewithjb.com now.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich, working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare, having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom41.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom41.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom, the number 41.com. Go to freedom41.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom41.com.
We hear you chirping. Get scribbling. Tweet up the Scribble at The Scribble Show. Join the discussion with Jeremy Bradley. It's all going down right now on Twitter at The Scribble Show and at thescribbleshow.com.
Thank you very much, Larson. Yes, at The Scribble Show. This is Jeremy Bradley at the controls. Again, feel free to give me a shout. Always love hearing from you. JB at jbonair.com is the email address. JB at jbonair.com. Would love for you to check out the weeks gone by, because this is, what is this, Scribble number 35 already. Lots of star power, some great celebrity guests have joined us in the recent weeks, and it's just been a fun time. So if there's a celebrity guest or reality show person that you want us to have on the show, definitely shoot us a line because we can reach out and make it happen. This podcast it's about you, right? It's not about what I want to talk about or what I want to hear. It's about, well, it is sort of what I want to talk about, but it's about what you find interesting and what you would like to hear. We had Liz from Big Brother on several weeks ago. We were inundated with emails and direct messages and just everything about getting some of the other contestants from Big Brother. So what did we do the next week? We had two of them. We had the winner of the show and his best bud from being inside the Big Brother house. So jb@jbonair.com is my email address if you have any requests or any feedback about the show. What I love hearing from is I love people who live wherever, because thanks to the internet, you can tune into this show anywhere, and you can be from any country. You can be from who knows where. So definitely drop me a line. It's always great meeting new people. jb@jbonair.com. All right, so another great Scribble is coming at you next week. Will we have a celebrity guest? I don't know. You'll just have to stay tuned to find out. And I'll talk to you then. Thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye, everybody.
Want more Scribble? Check out thescribbleshow.com for past shows, celebrity interviews, cheapskate tips, and more. That's at thescribbleshow.com and on Twitter at The Scribble Show. The Scribble is a speak-free media presentation.
If you want some real heat,